Welcome into Titans Today. It's time for some Week 6 recap and overreactions after, it sucks again, man. Another second half lead blown by Tennessee. They come up short against the Colts 20-17. Their playoff hopes are, whatever was left of them, are pretty much done. Specifically for this game, before we get into some overreactions and thoughts here, grade the Titans against the Colts. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comments section of today's video. Start with overreaction number 1, and that is benching Will Levis. Now, I'm actually going to cheat a little bit here in a second, but my first thought on this is it's still an overreaction. I am not ready to bench Levis at this particular time. But overreaction number 2 is that you have no faith in Will Levis as the team's franchise QB. I think that's a proper reaction. Maybe that sounds like both things can't be true at once, but it's how I feel right now. I actually think merging these two ideas, these two thoughts, does make sense. And having a general Will Levis conversation as it relates to the short-term stuff and as it relates to the long-term mindset. We don't have to pretend that Levis was good in that game, because he wasn't. Frankly, one interception probably doesn't even describe how many opportunities there were, how many chances there were for Indianapolis to get multiple interceptions in that game. There were a couple plays that were very close to going the wrong way there. The turnovers continue. I can't win games having a touchdown per game and 2 turnovers per game. Can't have it. It's not good enough. Levis has been, I think pretty clearly, a major disappointment for Tennessee. It has been a massive disappointment. It has been not good enough. And if you don't have faith in Levis as this team's franchise QB, yeah, I agree. I get it. Does that mean I want to pull the plug on the experiment 5 games in? No, not yet. But it doesn't mean I think it's going to magically get better, or at least I don't have great confidence in it suddenly getting better. More thoughts on the QB to come here on today's show. But what is your confidence level right now in Levis as the team's QB? Scale it from 1 to 10. 1, of course, on the low end, meaning you just don't think it's ever going to happen for him. 10 being you think the corner is about to be turned. Let me know in the comments section of today's show your confidence level in Will Levis. Look, he hasn't played well, so I expect low answers there. I expect 2s and 3s and answers that are just like, yeah, I don't believe in him. I get that. He's not been good. I'm also going to keep trying here, and I'm going to continue to keep trying until the players bail, until the locker room goes, we can't keep doing this, Brian Callahan. We have to make a change here. Once you reach that point, then you're at the point of no return, when you just have to do something else to make it clear to your players you're still trying to give them changes to win games. Because as soon as you lay down for an entire season, it's when you lose the locker room. And sometimes you don't always wake back up, even the next season. It's really hard for athletes at this level to turn the switch off and then get it to turn back on, unless you start getting some really big moments going. Now, I don't think Mason Rudolph is a real answer either. I don't think he's good enough. I think he is who he is. He is a backup quarterback who can come in, manage the bus, maybe gives you a better chance to win that game against Indy. Maybe. I don't think Levis played particularly well. I think the offensive line was still a bit of a question mark. We'll talk about them later on. But I know his ceiling isn't much higher than what it currently is right now. In fact, it probably isn't any higher. It's not a real answer or a real solution for what you need at the quarterback spot long term. So for now, I'm going to keep riding with Mayo Boy. I'm going to keep giving him chances to show what he's able to do. That way, when I get to week 17, when I get to week 18, when I get to the offseason, I know for certain he either is my guy or he's not. Might not make for a fun October, fun November. Best case is the light switch goes on, the light bulb turns on, it clicks, and he balls out, and okay, well, now he's playing like the caliber of athlete, arm strength guy that he is. Worst case, he's my tank commander. And I can bottom out this season, keep trying to play Levis, not win enough games, have cap space, have a premium draft pick, to go find a new quarterback. That's not fun if it happens that way. But from an organizational, roster building perspective, you could be in a lot worse of spots. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time has a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets to your favorite teams play live easier than ever. It filters out the fluff to only show you the incredible deals on great seats, so you're not wasting time searching through thousands of different tickets. It is curation designed to save you even more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. Whatever it is, Game Time has you covered. All-in pricing shows your total cost up front, so there's no surprise fees at checkout. The Game Time guarantee is also great. They will credit you 110% of the difference in your tickets if you find tickets in the same section and row for less. So go download the Game Time app today over at gametime.co. Create your account and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. But again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today because time is it. It's Game Time. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. It's Chat Sports at gametime.co. Overreaction number 3. I do have some Calvin Ridley concerns here. I don't think this is an overreaction. I don't necessarily think it's all his fault. In fact, I would question how much of it truly is his actual fault. But what I saw Sunday can't happen. You can't have your most targeted player get 8 targets and catch none of them. 0 attributed drops to Ridley. Maybe 1 was catchable. There were a lot of balls that were just not close. You got Calvin Ridley falling down, trying to come back to an underthrown pass. I can't have it. You have to figure this out. I am paying him too much money, as I'm frankly fine doing, because you need a wide receiver run. 1, to have him not be impactful, to have him not be a factor. Look at what Calvin Ridley has done this season. The first 2 games, he had 7 catches, 127 yards, and a score. Now, he had 2 touchdowns. He got involved in the ground game. They've done that the past 2 weeks as well. The last 3 games, the targets have gone down a little bit. 1 more with an extra game in there. He's got 2 catches for 14 yards. I know Brian Callahan has seen how the Bengals can scheme up Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Now, the issue of getting Ridley and Hopkins going at the same time seems to be the case in Cincinnati, where they can't get T and Chase going at the same time on a consistent basis. We got to get him the ball, man. And your quarterback has to be better at throwing the ball in his direction. Has to be the case. This stat line can't happen if you're going to be a competitive football team, because the Colts are not that great of a team. And you missed a good chance to win that one, in part because your passing game was terrible. Now, we'll have more Titans videos for you all year long, so do not miss out. Hit that sub button at youtube.com/Titans today for more free videos. Overreaction number 4. Is Tennessee best off sticking with Leroy Watson at right tackle? I don't think this is an overreaction. I'm on board with this decision. The O-line is still not great. The time to throw was down significantly for Levis because the offensive line just has concerns there. But I'm down to keep riding with Watson. I thought he was serviceable against the Colts. And with where you're at on your offense, maybe that's all you're looking for at this point on the offensive line, specifically at right tackle. 2 hurries against the Colts. Overall, they ran the ball fine against the bad run defense. That was mostly expected more than anything else. I'm going to keep playing him until further notice. He's not locked in long-term as a starter, but didn't do enough to lose the job, I think. I will say, and it's a damning indictment on Nicholas Petit-Frere. Watson didn't make the team, and they called him up for the practice squad and started him. That's bad, man. The reality is this. Offensive line, especially on the right side, is going to be a big-time need again in the offseason. Now, that could be solved by drafting left tackle and plug in Latham over at right tackle. That's potentially an option, too. I thought Skoronski played better this week. You got 3 guys alike, long-term. Latham, Skoronski, Cushenberry. Right guard, right tackle, especially right tackle, big old question marks. So would you start Watson again next week? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's video. Would you start Watson next week for the Titans? I'll end on a positive note here because there's not that many of them. I actually believe this Titans defense is straight up good. And I think they are the biggest reason why you've been competitive and should give you some hope long-term for this organization. I like a lot of what I've seen on defense from this team. Now, they're 13th in points per game. They're actually first in yards per game because your offense keeps turning the football over and putting them in bad spots there. They're fifth in EPA per play with negative expected points added each time that there's a play. Eighth in pass EPA per play and third in rush EPA per play. This defense is a legitimate playoff caliber defense and maybe a little bit more than that. They have simply been held back by a bad offense. So Denard Wilson, a lot of the key contributors on the defense side of the ball, well done. I like what I've seen. The short term is that this still stinks, that you don't have the offense to contribute on the defense moving forward. But if you can run it back with a lot of your key pieces on defense in 2025 and figure out the offense changes that you need, there's hope for next season.